The USA never misses a chance to show its true colors, and nothing exposes that faster than a brown person taking center stage. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and tits on Christ is MAGA pissed. Not because he's untalented or unworthy, but because they say he's not American. Phil Collins, U2, Sting, Coldplay, the Rolling Stones, I could go on. All non Americans who performed at the Super Bowl, and not one headline questioned their citizenship. But let's get something straight. Puerto Rico has been a U.S. territory since 1898, and in 1917, the U.S. made Puerto Ricans citizens, not out of love or equality, of course, but because they needed more bodies for World War I. They handed out citizenship like a draft notice, and here we are. So when people say Bad Bunny isn't American, what they're really saying is, aside from I know nothing about history, is he doesn't fit their picture of what America should look like. They want to gatekeep a country built on stolen land and stolen labor. But Bad Bunny represents millions of Americans who live, work, and dream here. They may not sound like the version of America you were taught to revere, but they embody everything this country still pretends to stand for. And if that bothers you, maybe you're not as proud of America as you say you are. Maybe you're just proud of your own reflection in it. And those are the people who confuse representation with replacement, equality with exclusion, and diversity with division. If they're not the center of attention, they think they're under attack. And it's always the same people, the ones screaming, "Make America Great Again," while proving every day they never understood what made it great. MAGA also condemned Bad Bunny for saying he didn't want to tour in the U.S. because of ICE, and then in the same breath announced ICE agents would patrol the Super Bowl to round up his fans. Congratulations on validating the fear that you ridiculed. And now, Turning Point USA wants their own halftime show because when inclusion feels like oppression, segregation starts to sound like comfort. They can't stand the fact that for one night the American spotlight might not reflect their face, and they definitely can't handle the fact that the sound of freedom can carry another language. But understand this: Bad Bunny does speak English, but he doesn't need to be American because America isn't a language, but it is a contradiction. A country that sends brown men to die for its wars but clutches its pearls when they dare sing their language on its stage. If the sound of Spanish offends you, maybe it's not the language that's foreign. Maybe it's the shock of realizing America isn't yours alone, and it never was. So before you bark, learn English at someone who probably speaks two languages. Try learning the language of basic decency. English may be your first language, but ignorance seems to be the only one that you're fluent in.